Hey Peaches, what is up? So, you guys had asked me like crazy on one of my videos to do a story time video. Ever since you guys requested that, I've realized that I've never done anything worth mentioning again in my life. And I have just not been able to come up with anything, literally anything to tell you guys. So, I finally came up with something. First of all, before we get started, can we talk about this shirt? This is from Target, I do believe. It is in the boys section, and I am in love. I always pretty much end up in the guys section no matter where I go because, especially for graphic tees, because I feel like whoever makes graphic tees thinks that girls only want like hot pink and like whatever, which is fine, except for if it's something like this, like I want it to look like the thing it's supposed to look like, not be Jurassic Park and like hot pink and weird other stars and hearts and things. I want it to be scary dinosaurs though. So it finally hit me the other day what I can film about. So I was driving in my car home from Taco Bell, and I thought I should probably go to the dentist. And then I thought, yeah, because as much as I hate the dentist, it's probably better to go now and like upkeep things instead of going one day and then be like, oh, gotta take all your teeth out because you never came to the dentist for a cleaning. Sorry. Anyways, that's what I started thinking about, and then I started thinking, oh my goodness, I could do my wisdom tooth teeth removal story. Which is like so different from any story time I usually see, which is like, my boyfriend dumped me for my neighbor's dog or something like that, and I'm just like, I got my teeth out one time. I don't do a lot. I like to stay home. So I'm not going to try to make this like super lengthy, but it is going to be a little lengthy. So go ahead and get settled. I have some sweet tea from Dunkin'. If you want to pause and go run to Dunkin', I will wait on you. So, starting at the beginning, I had 3 different operations to get my teeth out because they took the bottom 2 at the same time, and then I had to have 2 separate ones for my top. So my 2 bottom teeth were pretty much exactly how I thought, with a few exceptions, that my wisdom teeth removal would be like. So I was like groggy for a while afterwards. I think I took about a week to be fully recovered, but then I was totally good to go. I had dissolvable stitches that didn't have a single problem in the world. Like I didn't have any problems with the recovery part of my wisdom teeth. Now that being said, during it I did have a couple problems because when I was going, I'm like excited and I'm out of breath. I don't work out a lot either. When I was going to actually get my teeth out, I was in this private little room. It had like a TV in it, and it was like a, I guess kind of like a dentist chair, but it was kind of nicer than that. Hello? So I get in there and I get kind of settled and everything. I'm obviously by myself, and I think I got my 2 bottom teeth out when I was like in high school-ish, but like the latter years of high school, I want to say. And I am settled in my seat, and the nurse comes in to give me my IV. Also, before this point, I have not had anything except a shot in my arm, like my normal shots and routines. So the thought of having an IV was terrifying to me, literally terrifying. And that part went totally smooth. She put my IV in without a problem in the world. And then when I started to kind of like feel it, because if you've ever had an IV, basically it's uncomfortable when it goes in your arm, but then it doesn't really feel like much of anything. But when you start getting like whatever fluid they're giving you, it starts getting really cold around that area. And that part is the uncomfortable part. So I started to feel my arm like get cold. Are you done, birds? I started to feel that area kind of get cold, and that made me anxious because I was like, oh no, it's about to happen, like I'm gonna fall asleep soon. And so I did the only thing I knew to do, which was to very softly and quietly cry. And so I was like, and then one of the nurses finally turned around and was like, well, why are you crying? Like, what's wrong? And I couldn't think of anything to tell her, and I didn't want to tell her I was scared. And so then I thought, I'll just like tell her something that's not true, and let me think what would be a good thing to say in this scenario of why I was crying. Like, what's the most logical thing to say? So I said, it's so cold in here. honestly, if I wouldn't have been on drugs, I probably still would have come up with the same answer. Like, if I didn't have an IV going in my arm and I wasn't so scared about starting to do this little operation, I probably would have come up with something similar and just as dumb. So I told her I was too cold and it was freezing in there, and so she brought me a humongous blanket, and the next thing I know, they've already done the whole operation and everything. I didn't wake up at all during it. Now afterwards, this part I have to like tell this story over here so it connects. I think I've told you guys before that I was on some depression and anxiety medicine for a long time. And for one of those like trial periods of my life, I was trying a depression medication that just did not agree with my system. So instead of making it like, it didn't make it worse, I just didn't do anything. Like, I wasn't depressed, I just didn't have any motivation to do anything at all in the world, which is a whole different other story time video. But anyway, so I had just gone through all of that with that medication. Then I was on my anxiety medication that did work really well for me. It just made me very tired. So I don't know if it was like because of my anxiety medication, because at this point I wasn't on any depression medication, I was just on the anxiety, and if it was that, if it was something else, I don't know what it was. But when I woke up out of that, I was in like this dark room on like a gurney type thing, and I was like, what is going on? And my dad was crying and my mom is like standing over me, and I was like, what is like, what, this is death? Like, I'm dying right now, that's why people are crying. I don't even know, should I say something to let them know I'm living? Or basically, eventually, my dad comes back over to me and he's like, Sarah, you have to get yourself under control, because if you don't, they're gonna send you to the hospital. I just remember my breathing was like, I was having a panic attack. So basically what happened was I woke up in the middle of a panic attack, and I don't know why that happened. So he was like, you need to get yourself under control and just like focus on breathing, or they're gonna send you to the hospital. I remember that conversation so vividly because my dad was so upset about it, but I don't feel like I was awake even. I don't know, it was a weird thing. So I went back to sleep and I was fine, and then when I woke up again, I was at my house, I was on the sofa, and I was like, so I want a hamburger. Can we make that happen? So I ate an entire hamburger the first night of having my wisdom teeth out, and I just was on and off sleeping the whole day pretty much, and so everything else about that was normal. My healing was fine. I was a little bit swollen, but not like terribly. I didn't have any bruising, I didn't have any dry sockets, anything like that. It was like the perfect surgery from that point on. So then the time comes for me to have my top 2 out. So for this surgery I had a different dentist, not because I didn't absolutely love that one, but because of my insurance and everything like that. It was just going to be too expensive to have them both done separately there. So I had this other dentist that my mom found somehow. I think at this point I was in like college somewhere. I get fuzzy on my last wisdom tooth removal. This one I was in college at some point. I don't know where I was in life, but so I go in thinking that this is going to be a lot like the first operation I had. And when it gets closer to the date for me to go have this done, I was like, some things are not adding up to me about this place. And so I was asking my mom about when they gave me my, like, put me under, you know, what are we going to do when whatever. And she was like, no, they're not going to put you under for this one. And I was like, they're what now? So she told me that they were just going to do laughing gas instead of putting me under because it was cheaper that way. And I was like, okay. So I was very scared. And then the day comes for me to go and have them out, or have that one out. So one at a time. I go to have that one out, and I get in the room, and again, some things are just not adding up for me. Because first of all, the room that we were in was like a really weird, like, just a basic cleaning room. Like, it didn't even have doors on it, and I just thought, this is a really like private procedure though. So I feel like to be out in the middle of the floor with people walking in the hallway while I'm having that tooth extracted is weird. So then as I'm sitting there, I start looking around and trying to figure out, where is their little like mask and all their stuff for that? Did they roll that in or something? And so the nurse came back in, and I said something about the laughing gas or whatever. She was like, no, we don't do laughing gas here. And I was like, then what do you do? Like, I was having a complete meltdown at this point, thinking I'm not going to be put to sleep, I'm not going to have any laughing gas. What am I going to have? Then she tells me he's just going to numb you up really good. And I was like, not good enough. Like, I don't think so. So I was not a happy camper. The dentist comes in and he gets me pretty numb, but I did have to tell him 2 times during, I can feel that. So he's like, oh, let me put some more in there. It's just aggravating to me to think one thing and then like go in and it be something completely different. And I feel like they probably should have briefed us on that a little better. Like, to me, I don't know, that's not like, I don't know. I guess we could have asked questions about it. I didn't think that not having those 2 things was like even an option for that. I don't know. So he numbs me up. He starts getting everything ready to pull my tooth or whatever, and comes in with like a plier tool, basically, grabs my tooth and literally is doing this. So my head is like going back and forth, and I just started bawling because I was like, this is it for me. Like, I'm pretty sure this is how I die. This is not even a legit practice, I'm pretty sure. And the worst part about that was I could hear it snapping out of my skull. And I was just like, I cannot deal with this. This is too much for me. So he told me beforehand, basically the only thing was that I'd feel a lot of pressure. And it hurt, for one thing, because I feel like even with that numb, like that's, your wisdom teeth are like that, right? So then, continuing the sketchy activity, he was like, if you go home and it's hurting, just put ice on your cheek and, you know, whatever, you're fine. He didn't put stitches in it or anything, and I bled, like, from the time I left that office for, like, 2 days straight, like, nonstop. And, I was putting ice on it and everything. My face was so much bigger than when I had my 2 teeth out. Like, it was humongous. It did bruise a little bit, and I just was very unhappy with that. We'll come to find out, you're not supposed to put, no, I'm not a dentist or anything, but from what I know, you're not supposed to put ice on it because that can cause dry sockets, I think is what it was. And I was like, oh, Lord, he needs to be reported to somebody. So my second one was terrible. The other thing that made that one so incredibly bad was, so my first one, like I said, right when I got home, I was like ready for a hamburger. This time, all I wanted, like all that sounded good to me, was just a little bit of ice cream. And I ate like this much ice cream and I threw up, which I know is a lot of information, but I just couldn't eat for days, so then I couldn't take my medicine and I was like up all night. It was the worst experience I've ever had medically, so not fun. Then for number 3, this one I won't say was my best one. I think the first one is still my best, but the guy just pulled my tooth like the second guy did, except for he numbed me and everything. He didn't give me anything additional, but he was super, super sweet and like told me from the get-go everything that was going to happen and how it was going to happen and what everything was going to feel like and everything. The thing I didn't like about it was I could still hear it cracking out of my skull. And when I started to get like, when he was pulling it, he was like, just think about something else. And I was like, okay. So he was really nice. His practice there was like a Christian practice, so they had nice Christian music playing, and it just made me feel a little bit more at ease. And relaxed, I guess. So that one went pretty well. Then he told me, do not put ice on it because that can cause all of whatever he said. And so I was like, are you kidding me? But they gave me some good medicine that helped me. I don't feel like I swelled up a whole lot with that one. I felt like it was pretty good. I didn't bruise with it, and I didn't have dry sockets with any of them, thank goodness. So yeah, I know that was a lot of information, but I thought that it might be something fun for you guys to hear about. If you like soy sauce, give this video a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this, please let me know if you want a different story time video about like my anxiety or depression medication or some other thing. Just comment down below and let me know what that is. And yeah. So some exciting news, me and Destin are starting a vlog channel. Right now I'm the main person who like is filming and editing for those, so I'm trying to get a feel for the best way to compile those videos. So I'm working on that right now, but our vlog channel is live now and we're filming at this point, our intro for today. So that's exciting for me to get that started finally. I've been talking about that for a while. And on there, I basically have some videos that I've already filmed and edited, and they have music behind them, and like they're kind of longer because I was doing it like for a whole week. So now I think what I'm going to do is just do it for a day or two, or maybe 3, and then upload a video instead of doing a whole week long. And I've changed some things as far as not having music behind it and some things like that. So I hope that you guys will check that out. I'll have that linked down below for you. Also, I guess at this point, if I'm uploading this on Monday, my giveaway is over, so I'll have my video up soon about who the winner is, if I don't already have that up. And I can't wait for my next giveaway. I have like 3 or 4 more things to give you guys that I cannot wait for. I'm so excited, and if you guys have something you specifically want me to give away, comment down below. I will also have my P.O. box listed down below if you want to write me a little letter. I love to hear from you people, even if it's just a comment on here, and I will do my best, if you'd like me to write you back. So yeah, until next time, I hope you guys have an awesome week or weekend or wherever you are at in life, and I will see you soon. Bye.